All right, what's going on, everybody? Well, I heard some news this morning, just a little while ago, about Billy Joe Saunders' father being interviewed by IFL TV. And as everyone knows, there's been a dispute about the ring size. I believe initially the ring was 18 feet or was going to be 18 feet. And Billy Joe Saunders and his team wanted a 24-foot ring. And now I guess they're saying the ring will be 20 feet. And Billy Joe Saunders' dad was saying in this interview that they would be willing to compromise to 22 feet. So I guess, like I said, Canelo's side initially was going to have the ring 18 feet, and Billy Joe Saunders wanted his team wanted the ring 24 feet. Now, as they currently stand, it's 20 feet. That's a 20-foot ring, which is pretty standard in the sport of boxing. 20-foot ring's pretty standard. Uh, but now they're saying they want 22 feet, or they're going to pull out of the fight and fly home. Now, this is all according to Billy Joe Saunders' dad, Tom Saunders, and he was being interviewed by IFL TV, and he was sitting next to Billy Joe Saunders' manager. I don't recall his name, but sitting next to his manager, and they were going. Tom Fury's been doing pretty much all the talking. Billy Joe Saunders has done very few interviews. Uh, Obviously, he said he didn't want to do much press here. So this is all Tom Saunders. He's basically saying that they want to try to take Billy Joe Saunders' legs away from him in this fight by having the ring smaller than what they want. But we all know Canelo's definitely the A side here. He's going to call the shots. So obviously, he's going to dictate what goes on. I'm sure they're going to negotiate to some degree, but for the most part, Canelo Alvarez's side is going to have things their way because they are they're basically one of the faces of boxing. Arguably Canelo Alvarez is the most popular fighter in the sport of boxing. Either him or AJ. You can flip a coin, really. And Canelo Alvarez is looked upon as the best pound for pound fighter in the world. He's got a pretty lofty status in the sport of boxing. So obviously he's going to have some leverage on his side, regardless of who he fights. I don't see anyone really being on equal footing with him in terms of negotiating power when they enter a negotiation with Canelo Alvarez. And Billy Joe Saunders had to have known this. His team had to have known this. So it seems as though a lot of this stuff is theatrics. I don't know how serious that we should take this. I have a hard time seeing Billy Joe Saunders pull out of this fight. Uh, he's getting some pretty decent money allegedly for this fight. He's going to get a share of the pay-per-view revenue, which should be pretty substantial. So I don't know. I mean, according to Tom Saunders, there was no actual contractual agreement in regards to the ring in the contract. So there was no predetermined ring size for the fight. So I've never really seen a situation like this before with a dispute. Well, I have seen a situation like this before, but not in my lifetime. There was a situation with Sugar Ray Robinson way back in the day when he was complaining about a ring size, and he was threatening to pull out of the fight the day of the fight. I forget who he was supposed to be fighting, but he was threatening to pull out of the fight the day of the fight. You can go back and look at his there's many books and stories written about Sugar Ray Robinson, and this has been documented. You could definitely Google it. He threatened to pull out of the fight, but I guess the promoter of the event tricked Sugar Ray Robinson. They didn't actually change the size of the ring. What they did was they took a tape measure and added some feet to the tape measure, and to make Sugar Ray Robinson think that the ring was bigger than it was. So they pulled a trick on him. They doctored the measuring tape, and he ended up fighting the fight. He didn't end up pulling out. So this isn't new that someone's complaining about a ring size and threatening to pull out of a fight. Sugar Ray Robinson did this. So I don't know if Billy Joe Saunders' team or Tom Saunders or whatever was ever talking to Billy Joe Saunders. If they're looking to pull a page out of Sugar Ray Robinson's book and play some psychological warfare here with Team Canelo. But at the end of the day, I just find it hard to believe that Billy Joe Saunders is going to pull out of this fight, regardless of the threats. Just like Chisora was threatening to pull out of his fight because against Parker because he didn't want to come in first after losing the coin flip, which was contracted into the agreement. So, you hear Tom Saunders talk about how, Canelo Alvarez really doesn't want this fight. That's why he's not agreeing to allow the ring to be bigger, this, that, and the third. But it seems like Tom Saunders, to me, is really concerned about his son's well-being going into this fight because he's the one that's been very critical of everything. He's the one that seems to be really protective of his son and seems to be showing an awful lot of concern for his son's well-being going into this fight. It appears to me that he's not so confident that his son's going to go into this fight and perform to the good enough where he's gonna not get hurt. It seems to me like he's concerned about his son getting hurt in this fight. In other words, to cut to the chase here and to simplify what I'm trying to say here, it seems to me that Tom Saunders is really concerned that his son could get hurt against Canelo Alvarez, because this is going to be, in my opinion, and I think Tom Saunders may agree with this, and maybe Billy Joe Saunders may agree with this. This is going to be arguably the biggest puncher that well, I guess David Lemieux you could say, but Canelo Alvarez is a more he's a more fluid combination puncher. He's a more I think he's more dangerous to David Lemieux offensively, to be honest with you. So I think they realize that this could be arguably the hardest puncher with both hands, and not only having the power, but having the hand speed to be able to rail off those combinations and, really inflict some damage on Billy Joe Saunders here. So I think they're concerned about Canelo Alvarez. And I think Billy Joe Saunders' dad is really concerned about Canelo Alvarez beating his son up or hurting his son in this fight, because the way he's talking with all these excuses, I really question whether his father wants him to take this fight. Because there's also there was a situation when Roy Jones was negotiating to fight Mike Tyson, and I think his father was against it. And then Roy Jones was going to fight Buster Douglas, and I guess his father told him, I'm concerned about your health in this fight, Roy. I think that Buster Douglas is too big, or whatever. And that's why Roy Jones, I think, never fought Mike Tyson or never fought Buster Douglas, and fought Johnny Ruiz instead, because on the advice of his father, I think his father was concerned that those guys may be too big and too skillful to go along with the size, where with Ruiz, Roy was just so much more skilled than Ruiz, so much faster, and Ruiz wasn't a huge puncher. So that's why Roy, I believe, took that route instead of fighting a Tyson or a Buster Douglas. And obviously Lennox Lewis at the time was way too big. So I think a lot of times the protective nature of a father sometimes will work its way into, the fighter's decision making. I think obviously Billy Joe Saunders is close with his father, it seems, and I'm sure his father is, talking to him about this fight regularly. And I think his father's concerned. I think his father is going to be trying to look for every advantage, obviously, that they can get, which is part of any negotiations. Both sides are going to try to put themselves in the best possible position to win, but they have to know that Canelo is going to have the leverage here. So, like I said, I think it's really Billy Joe Saunders' father who is the one that, to me, seems like he's overly concerned with the situation. I think he's concerned about his son getting hurt. I think he doesn't want his son to be in a fight where he's going to have to go punch for punch. He wants his son to obviously put himself in the least amount of danger possible in this fight, and that would have to, it would for a conducive environment for that to take place would be having a bigger ring. And obviously the smaller ring would definitely favor Canelo. There's no question about that. Smaller ring would definitely favor Canelo. But 20-foot ring is 20-foot ring, 22-foot ring is pretty standard. A 24-foot ring is really big. So obviously they probably knew they weren't going to get that. 22-foot ring's a little big, but the average ring size is usually 20 feet. It's 20 feet. So I guess they've agreed. Tom Saunders was saying, well, initially they said that the ring was going to be 18 feet, and then if we complained about it, which they knew we probably would, then they'll bump it up to 20 feet. But even 20 feet is too small. What we really want is 22. I don't think they're going to get the 22-foot ring. I just don't think that's going to happen. So they're threatening to pull out. He's saying that they're asking Eddie Hearn for plane tickets to go back home. I don't see it happening until I hear it out of Billy Joe Saunders' mouth that I'm not going to fight on Saturday. I don't believe any of this. But one thing that I do believe is they're already setting the stage for a lot of alibis if they lose. I think what's going to happen if they lose on Saturday, which I feel pretty confident they're going to lose on Saturday. I could be wrong, but I just think Canelo's going to win this fight by decision. I think he's going to win it about eight rounds, maybe 9 rounds to 3, 8 rounds to 4, 9 rounds to 3. That's how I just don't think this fight is going to be as competitive as many people think. And I'll talk about that probably in another video. But yeah, I just think that that they're complaining a lot. It seems like they're trying to create a lot of alibis, a lot of excuses. So if Billy Joe Saunders does not win this fight, then they're just going to say, well, the deck was stacked against us. We wanted this, that, and the third, and we weren't allowed to have it because Team Canelo was taking advantage of us during the negotiations. They were able to get everything their way, and we weren't. That's why we lost. It just seems like that they're just setting up the alibis right now. And then I also think, like I said before, I really do think Billy Joe Saunders' father is concerned for his son's health in this fight. He may not be as confident in his son's chances as he's trying to lead on. By making all these statements and voicing all this concern about the ring and other things, it just makes them look like they're uncomfortable with the situation. And then it looks like they're just looking for any type of edge because they don't feel 100% confident, it seems to me. It just seems like they're showing doubt by their behavior here. So, like I said, I don't think that Billy Joe Saunders is going to pull out of this fight. I just don't think that's going to happen. 20-foot ring is standard. It's generally standard. Let's Google, just for the hell of it, standard boxing ring size, and I want to see what size comes up, just for the hell of it. That's what I want to do. I'm just going to see what ring size comes up. So standard boxing ring size. Okay, so a standard ring is between 16 and 24 feet. Okay, that's what it says here. Okay. So the biggest ring that they have is 22 feet, and the smallest ring is 16. Usually. So having it 20 feet is pretty much in the middle. That's right. It's actually pretty much in the middle. So 20 by 20 is usually it's usually the most common size for a ring. Let's take a look at how the Olympic boxing ring is. Yeah, so an Olympic size boxing ring is 20 by 20. Yeah. So Olympic rings are 20 feet. In the Olympics, they use a 20-foot ring, which is pretty much in the middle. Smallest ring is 16 foot, and then the biggest ring is you know, is 24 foot. So, you think about it, you think about it. So that's nine, that's like a span of 9 feet, right? So yeah, it's right in the middle. Like 20 foot is like, it's like the average, it's the average size ring. So they're squabbling over 2 feet. And they're really, most rings are like, they're 16, 20, 16, 18, 20, and 24. It's usually in those increments. You don't see too many 22-foot rings. More often than not, you see a 20-foot ring or a 24-foot ring. Like I said, the Olympics is using 20 foot. So I don't think by having a 20-foot ring, it's really unfair to Billy Joe Saunders. That's the perfect compromise. So by them squabbling over, you know, 2 feet, first the ring was 18 foot, and then Canelo went to 20. Okay, so now they went to 20, and now he's saying he wants 22. So then when he agrees to 22, what's going to happen? Are they going to go to 24? Like I said, 20 foot is the most common ring. Most high profile boxing matches are fought in 20-foot rings. You know? So I don't know. I'm not going to say that Billy Joe Saunders doesn't want the fight. I just think he's trying to create excuses to come up with it just looks like they're trying to create excuses for if he loses. That's what it looks like to me. It looks like they're, like I said, I hate to keep repeating myself and sounding redundant here, but they're looking for alibis is what they're looking for. They're trying to create this environment. They're trying to create this environment like everyone's against me, the world's against me. And some fighters like to have that. They like to have that because it gives them an edge going in. You know what I mean? They like to have that chip. I don't know if he's trying to create a chip on his shoulder to give him some added motivation going in, but his father just doesn't sound like his father. And again, that's his father. Of course, he's going to be concerned about his son, but he seems overly concerned about this fight because this is the first time I've ever seen his father take an active role in any of his fights. I've seen Billy Joe Saunders fight before. I've seen him fight Andy Lee. I've seen him fight Chris Eubank Jr. I've seen him fight David Lemieux. I've seen him fight Martin Murray. I've seen enough of his fights to kind of see that the habits and what goes on during the pre-fight. And I've never seen his father so involved in my life. Never. Never, 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 never. And I'm sure that he's fought many times in a 20-foot ring. All of a sudden now he wants a 22-foot ring. Again, part of me thinks this is gamesmanship, and part of me also thinks that this is like I said, trying to set up some alibis for if he loses. But I tend to genuinely think that his father is a little bit concerned here for his son. I don't think his father really. I'm not going to say his father doesn't think he can win the fight, but I think his father is concerned that he may get hurt. This is the one fight that he could actually get beat up and hurt in. That's the thing. So Eric says Saunders did not show up for the press conference. So I don't know. I don't know how legit this is. What time was the press conference scheduled for? Let me go onto the DAZN app and see if they actual. Let me see if. Let me see if it's actually going on right now, because usually it would be on DAZN. Yeah, I don't see any press conference going on right now. Let me see if I don't know if the press conference was scheduled for yesterday. I guess they have one final press conference scheduled before Saturday. So let me see. Yeah, so they had a press conference a week ago. Gareth Davies he's just did a video about 3 hours ago. He says, "I know Billy Joe's team. They will fly home." Okay. Oh, okay. So this was 36 minutes ago. Canelo faces off alone. Billy Joe Saunders no shows amid ongoing ring situation. Let me see this video. Let me see this. Yeah, this is a bad look. Plus, Billy Joe's been doing. He's been doing no press for this fight. I I don't know. I'm starting to second guess now. Does he really want to fight? Dang, I guess they were supposed to have a face-off today or something. Something they were supposed to do something today. And yeah, I'm watching a video right now, and Billy Joe Saunders is, Canelo Alvarez is here all by himself with his team, and there's no one there from Billy Joe Saunders' team. So Canelo Alvarez never had any issues like this before with any other opponent. No one's ever complained about a ring size. No one's ever complained about gloves. No one's ever complained about anything. So I don't know. Let Eric jump on here. I was hoping he would jump in.
Second.
How you doing, brother?
Good, man. How are you?
Good, man. Good. So what do you think about this, man? Is this legit or is this gamesmanship? This BS? Most fights are fought in 20-foot rings. An Olympic ring is 20 foot. 24-foot ring is
It's
really,
big.
really rare.
It's big. I tell you what, I've been following this from the get-go this morning, man. I just found the news this morning. I was following the Verdejo thing all weekend since we got off. And then I've been following this thing as it's been kind of materializing for the last day or so. We've seen little bits and everything like that about what's happening. And they're complaining about the ring size and everything like that. It's an 18-foot ring, which they
bumped it up to 20.
They bump it up to 20 now?
Yeah. During the interview, he said they said they first started with an 18-foot ring and they knew we were going to complain about it. So they bumped it up to 20 and they were saying we want 22. Now Hagler and Leonard they didn't really have a dispute, but they were going through negotiations. And I guess Hagler wanted, I think, either a 16 or an 18-foot ring. Hagler and Leonard fought in a 20-foot ring.
A 16-foot ring? Yeah, now can you imagine? Can you imagine Saunders in a 16-foot ring? I'll tell you what, yeah, I mean, a 20-foot ring to me sounds okay. I mean, but then, the mid-range would be 21. So you're looking at a foot here and a foot here. I mean, a 20-foot ring sounds okay to me. A 22-foot ring sounds okay to me. 24-foot ring, no. 18-foot ring, no. Either 20 or 22. But I think they're really serious. I really do. I think they're really serious about walking off here. But what I think is going to happen, I think there's going to be some money that exchanges hands. And I think that's going to make everything better. I don't know. I don't know.
You could be right because look at this. So initially when Hagler and Leonard were negotiating, Hagler was supposed to get 12 plus a percentage of the revenue and Leonard was supposed to get 11 plus, they're supposed to split the closed circuit rights, whatever.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening is Leonard wanted to choose the gloves. Okay. So he wanted 10 ounce gloves. He wanted Reyes gloves. Cause back then you could have 8-ounce gloves if you wanted to. So Leonard chose 10-ounce Reyes and he chose the number of rounds because Hagler wanted 15, Leonard wanted 12.
Yeah.
And he was also able to choose the size of the ring. And Leonard was a mover. He was a mover just, probably just as much, if not more than Saunders. Right. And he wanted to be able to move against Hagler, which he did. So they agreed upon a 20-foot ring. So asking for a 24-foot ring is kind of ridiculous.
Sure.
But then on top of it, 22-foot ring that's like trying to find a 15.5 sneaker in a Foot Locker. That's like rare as hell. No, how many? I can't remember any fights being fought in a 22-foot ring. Most rings, usually either 18 or 20 in boxing. And like I said, in the Olympics, they fight in 20-foot rings.
There you go. I mean, then it's a 20-foot ring, you know. But I think the bigger issue here is, why wasn't this cleared up in the contract? Why do we go to post time here not knowing what kind of ring they're going to fight in? Listen, I mean, for anything else, I mean, if you think about it, for training purposes and everything else, this would be better to know this coming in. So I can train in a 20-foot ring or an 18-foot ring or whatever it is going to be.
Correct. Correct.
Why isn't this
Well, I'll
listed?
tell you.
I mean, I don't understand that.
I'll tell you why. Because the assumption is most fights of this magnitude are fought in 20-foot rings. So Canelo did try to pull, try to get an advantage and say, I want an 18-foot ring, but immediately they bumped it up to 20 as soon as a complaint was made.
So I got to be honest. I mean, you think about this. I mean, like how much do you have to have the deck stacked in your favor, man? Okay, I got to be honest. I mean, like,
but what? Like when people say that's the deck stacked against Canelo, in Canelo's favor, what does he have that's such a big advantage here?
Well, you got the hometown. Okay. You got his hometown.
You
got no British judges in there.
Do we have any? So are they all American judges?
That I couldn't tell you. That I don't know.
Let's look at the judges because
let's find that out, because I heard that today and I was like, well, they got a point, Because
technically Canelo's really not American, but again, he's probably the favorite.
Sure.
He's probably the adopted American son. You know what I mean? Which is fair to say. So let's take a look at where these judges are from, because they usually have the judges listed ahead. Let's look at the event. Okay. See if I'm going to find out the judges. I'm going to find these judges here. Usually they have the judges listed
on BoxRec, correct?
Yeah, but I don't. Okay, event. Okay. Texas Commission, Eric Bond. No. Let me see if I can find. Google the judges. Saunders, Alvarez judges. Man, we gotta find out who these judges are. Okay, so let me see if we can find out, because they're complaining about, but they supposedly they already knew about the process. Okay, so but the contract that Billy Joe signed clearly states that no Mexican judge, no British judge, neutral judges. They will have the opportunity to look at the judges and have an objection. Okay, so I explained to Billy. I explained that to Tom and Billy in Vegas. Blah blah blah. So, gonna find out who these judges. Okay, so I guess. All right. So they're concerned.
Saunders said, I'm here to win. I did this deal based on an English judge, American judge, and Mexican judge. And now when I come here the other day, no English judge and no English officials allowed.
Okay. So it doesn't say who the judges are for some reason.
No.
So I don't know if these are all. But generally, when you fight in a specific state, you use those, those states' judges.
Yeah, but in a fight like this, though, I mean, if in a fight like this, but again, here's the deal. I guess they came over here. I mean, with the COVID thing, how were they allowed to get over here? Is that with work visas or what?
Yeah, you get work visas. I get work visas.
So then I guess they could have came over. I mean, if they needed a judge, they could have gotten one.
So he wants one British judge. That's what he's complaining about.
Asim Khan in the chat said that he's 95% sure Hearn said they were all American judges.
Okay, so they're all American judges then. That's a legitimate beef.
That's a legitimate beef.
I'll give him that.
Couple that with the ring size and everything, like how many advantages,
Okay, so he's got the judges then, right? We'll give him that. But if Canelo's agreeing to fight in a 20-foot ring and he doesn't want to fight in a 20-foot ring, then that's really not to me, that shouldn't be an issue.
I don't think it should be an issue. I'll be honest with you. I don't think it should be an issue. I think the 20-foot ring, I think that's fair. That's a normal sized ring. No?
Yeah. So, I'm going to criticize Hearn a little bit, because when we go back and look at this Chisora Parker fight, that was fought in the UK. They had one British judge, they had one New Zealand judge, and they had a Polish judge. So why couldn't they do one American judge, one Mexican judge, and one British judge? So we'll give Billy Joe Saunders that one. That's legit. Obviously, the home court thing. I mean, you're gonna. This fight makes sense to be.
It
in
is
Texas.
what it is. Yo, sure.
Because Texas was one of the only states that had a big enough stadium that allowed full capacity. So that's a no-brainer.
Right.
So the ring. So in my opinion, he's got one legitimate beef. The judges. I'm going to side with him on the judges. To be fair.
Yeah.
I think you made a good point there with the judges.
But that being said, we talk about the ring size. I mean, I think a 20-foot ring
is fine.
Is fair.
Yeah.
I don't think a 22-foot ring if he wants to go up to a 22-foot ring, whatever. But a 20-foot ring to me would be fair. 18, no.
If I was Canelo, I would allow a 22-foot ring.
They might not have it. I think that's the other thing too. I mean, can they set up a 22 ring?
It's not a common ring size, Eric.
Right. And I know, the ropes and everything like that. I don't know how exactly that ring gets set up.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm kind of saying. This is a little fishy. Why would he be asking for something kind of outlandish like that? 16, 18, 20, 24. Those are the standard ring sizes.
Yeah. Well, and people in the chat saying that he's ducking and stuff like that. Listen, man, he's not. I don't think he's ducking anything. I mean, he came all this way, came to the United States. He's put all this training in, all this money toward it. He's paying his people.
But
listen,
Eric,
he wants the fight to go through. I don't think there's any question about that.
But Eric,
go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Here's the problem.
Not at all.
Here's the problem. You made a great point. Why did they not bring up these concerns way back when the fight was first being negotiated?
Well,
why is all this stuff last minute? You know what I mean?
Why wasn't this? Because if he knew he was going to have a gripe with a 20-foot ring, then why not specify it? Because 22 and 24, they're not common type. 20 is probably the most common. A 22.
Now, in fairness to him, he is claiming that this is what he's claiming. This is what I read, that he was under the impression that the contract stated that we would have an American, a Mexican, and a British judge.
Right.
He did say that. So I don't know how accurate his statements are. I don't know about that. But
who knows? Who knows?
But there was nothing put in there about the ring size. So if he was concerned about the ring size, like you said, that should have been brought up long ago.
You hear a lot of things when when you want to hear them. You know what I'm saying? Like when you get what you want and they're going down stipulations, you probably hear a lot of things that you thought you heard that you didn't hear. Just like buying a new car, just like buying a new house, just like this is a big kind of thing. So I don't know. Given Quality said the fight has such a pathetic undercard, and even though it's called the so-called ticks are sold, the buzz around the fight is not good. I disagree with that, man. I think there's a lot of buzz around this fight. I really do. I think there's a lot of, maybe you're from Texas and maybe you know it better than I do on the ground over there, but there seems to be a lot of buzz for this fight. That undercard, though, I will agree with you, is awful. I mean, god awful. It's really bad.
Let me take a look at that undercard because I really didn't look at it.
Take a look. Yeah, let's take a look at that undercard real quick. It is just a drizzling, what, man.
I'll look at that undercard because we can see that. And here's another thing that is kind of disturbing, and I'm going to side with Billy Joe Saunders on this once again. Usually, the week of the fight, you can go on BoxRec and you know who the referee is and you know who the judges are. It's usually all this stuff is usually announced, right? So what's going on now? Like Hearn, I don't know that. I don't like how so far. I mean, from what I'm seeing, how this promotion's being, how it's playing out right now. I don't like it.
No, and you know what else is? I mean, the bottom line too is that Eddie Hearn, isn't he is Saunders' promoter, isn't he?
He's Saunders' promoter.
He's
Saunders' promoter. But here's the thing: he does promote Canelo on a fight-to-fight basis as well. So
right. Well, I mean, but again, fight to fight versus, a guy you're signed with. I mean,
Wow, this is a bad undercard.
It's awful, isn't it?
I'm gonna be I'm embarrassed to say that I do not really. Let me see. I don't know any of these people. These are all locals.
I know
See,
Elwin Soto. We know Elwin Soto. Katsunari Takayama. I don't know him. He's fighting Elwin Soto.
I know Nagi Aguilera. And
See, I don't
him.
know him. Frank Sanchez. I've heard of him. Kieran Conway. Suleiman Cisco. No idea who those two are.
Yeah.
Mark Castro. No idea. Probably a local guy. Who knows? Keyshawn Davis versus Jose Antonio Mesa. It's awful.
Yeah, we barely know Soto just because he's at
The fact, I mean, that they
he's
had
a title
people
holder. Yeah.
even pay. Yeah, right. That's the only reason you know him. The fact that people, this is crazy. This should be on DAZN. It should be on free TV, to be honest with you.
It's a horrible undercard. It's a real bad undercard. Now, hopefully, on paper, sometimes these undercards don't look good, but maybe, the fights end up being better than we anticipate. I don't know. But
typically they are. I mean, typically they have some pretty good fights. The guys usually come through when it comes to stuff like this. But again, it's, you're trying to get people, like I said, that value out of it. So you don't watch just one big fight and that's it. You want to have a couple of good, solid fights underneath,
Yeah. So I side with them on the judges, and maybe this is kind of a residual thing. Bringing this ring thing up is probably a way of getting back and, trying to get something in their favor because they don't like the situation with the judges. So
what do you think? I mean, because they, when you saw the interview, I don't know if I sent you, I believe I said, did I send you the interview with his dad?
I saw it.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't know. Yeah. What I sent you or whatever, but yeah, man. And the IFL is reporting that the whatchamacallit, the press conference is there and no sign of Billy Joe. So I think they're dead serious, man. But I have a hard time. I mean, how much is he getting paid for this fight? I mean,
they're giving him a $2.5 million guarantee, but he's going to get a 40% share of the pay-per-view. And this fight's going to do pretty well.
Yeah, that's a big deal. That's a lot of money, man.
Canelo's
that's
getting
a lot of money to walk.
Canelo's getting 15 million. So
yeah, that's a lot of money to walk away from, man.
But the pay-per-views are going to do, the UK pay-per-views, everyone buys them over there. They'll buy this.
Worst case scenario here, say Billy Joe goes home. Is there a fight on Saturday? Do they bring somebody else in?
I think they'll bring someone else in.
And they're going to pay Canelo $15 million?
That I don't know.
That I don't know either. I think that to me, that's kind of more interesting here than anything else, is that if Billy Joe does take his ball and go home, well,
they did pay Canelo Alvarez $15 million to fight Rocky Fielding, though.
Well, there you go. Yeah. So, I mean, what's the difference? I mean, really, what's the difference if you bring in a guy, who wasn't going to fight anyway?
I am going to be honest with you. I would, if I was Canelo, I would give him the 22-foot ring if it's possible to even have a 22-foot ring. I don't remember seeing a 22-foot ring ever, but I could be wrong. So it would have to be a custom. Like, what are they gonna do? Like, make a custom ring, or like, I don't know.
Somebody in the chat, I don't know who it was in the chat, said that AJ and Ruiz boxed in a 22-foot ring in Dubai. Whether I don't know. I mean, I just don't know. So I'll take your word for it. But I don't know.
It's possible.
Sure.
No, I'm not gonna say it's not possible, because I just never heard. I don't really hear too much about a 22-foot ring. Most rings I hear are fought in 20-foot rings.
Yeah.
22 is normal. No, 20 feet is normal, because again, Hagler and Leonard fought in a 20-foot ring. 22 is not normal ring size. It's not. That's not like make up stories to create, to support our own narrative here. Obviously, Gibson's is a Saunders fan. We can see that by his comments. A 22-foot ring is not common.
Yeah, and it just says 16 to 24 feet is the actual. That's what size it can be. Almost like soccer fields, how they can be, different dimensions depending on what level you're playing at. They can be different dimensions as far as measurements and that kind of thing. So yeah, I get it. Pat Mack says 18 foot is the amateur size ring.
No, the Olympics use 20-foot rings.
Yeah, I think for a professional fight like this, I think 20 feet is good. I think 20 feet is fine. 22 is fine too.
A 20-foot ring is a standard size ring. It's a universally sized ring. It really is. If you think about it.
Yeah.
So
Joe Ramos wants to know the pick for Dickens and Galahad. I'm taking Galahad in that one.
Probably Galahad, yeah. I love Galahad. I think he's solid.
Yeah, I do too. Ryan Williams says that Saunders is going to win the title. He's going to make Canelo look like an amateur. Listen, man, I want to see the fight. I really want to see it because I'm thinking a lot of the same things, man. I've said it for a long time that Billy Joe Saunders is trouble for anybody, and I think he poses a specific danger to Canelo with his style. I think it's going to be difficult for Canelo to solve, but maybe not. You know, he's been doing pretty well against British fighters, so I don't know. Yeah, but
I haven't been crazy about how Saunders has looked recently. I don't, I think Canelo should win the fight. I think it'd probably go the distance, though.
I would be shocked if either of them got a knockout. I'd be very shocked.
I'm gonna see if we can find out like ring sizes for other fights. So I'm gonna try to Google like bigger fights and see. Yeah, so they were trying for an 18-foot ring, change to an Olympic 20-foot ring. They were trying an amateur 18, and then okay. So they I mean, it's no question that Canelo wasn't playing games, but they were trying to see.
Zakario asked if Billy Joe pulls out, should this count as a Canelo win? No, because they didn't fight.
They didn't fight.
It's not. He can't do that. It's not a win by forfeit.
Joshua Ruiz ring size. I'm just curious.
Yeah. I think that's a good.
See if I can find this out.
They bring up another point too. Like, I mean, what about as this goes on, as this drones on, what does this do mentally to Billy Joe Saunders? You know what I'm saying? As far as like, if they're dead serious, I mean, because I don't know if they're serious or they're playing or what the deal is. But again, man, if they are dead serious, what does this do to, I mean, as far as like, and they figure out, hey, this is a go ahead. What does that do to you mentally? I mean, because he could be, somebody mentioned in there, he's checked out, and it could be that he is checking out,
Listen to this now.
Yes.
Eddie Hearn ensured Joshua had every advantage from the 22-foot ring size up from the 18-foot in June.
See, now why can't he do that for Saunders? He's a promoter. It's his promoter.
Yeah.
I'm
going to be honest with you.
Eddie Hearn's a jerk, man.
I think he's a jerk. Hearn's not an idiot. I think he feels Canelo's going to win this fight.
Canelo. Well, let me ask you this. Who's the bigger money fighter, him or Canelo?
Canelo's the much bigger money.
There you go. If Saunders wins this fight, who's the bigger money fighter, Canelo or Saunders? Canelo. Still Canelo.
Well. Here's the thing too. Canelo made a statement. He goes, "I still want to continue to work with Eddie Hearn, regardless of because he's saying he would fight PPC fighters, but he still wants to work with Eddie Hearn. So Hearn's gonna be involved, and according to Canelo, Hearn's gonna be involved in his career in some capacity if he keeps winning. So if you're Hearn, obviously the move to that your support is gonna fall behind Canelo. There's no question about that.
Reese Mack just said, "Well, there goes the Eddie Hearn interview."
I mean, I'm not disrespecting the guy. I mean,
I think I called him a jerk. That's why the interview's over.
I wasn't paying attention to that. Yeah, you did call him a jerk, didn't you? Listen, he was never going to give me an interview anyways. I've tried to get him on several times.
I think we can get him on. I think we know enough people to get him on. Yeah, I absolutely think so. I think we know enough I think we got enough connections to get him on. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that's correct. There was a 22-foot ring for Joshua Ruiz too, up from an 18-foot ring.
And why not go to bat for your fighter? I mean, this guy's assigned to you. The other guy's doing a fight by fight.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. I understand. Canelo is in, and Braulio Salazar say Canelo's the A side, though. Yeah, I agree. Yes, and he's earned, all the advantages that he gets, but
Let's look for Canelo Mayweather ring size. That's a great question.
Oh, that is a really good question.
Because for the first half of that fight, though, Mayweather like kind of took it to him, and then he started moving afterwards. Let me see. Let's see if I can find that. Yeah, I can't find any information on that. Let me see if I can find. There's a Mayweather McGregor ring size.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's no information on that. Let me see. See if I can see if they pull it up in here in the Wikipedia. No. Yeah, no information on that. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't say. But I'm sure it was whatever Mayweather wanted it to be. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm seeing 20 by 20, but they're not 100% sure. It's just kind of like a post kind of thing. It wasn't actually.
Yeah. So as it stands right now, this fight is going to be this fight is going to be in a 20-foot ring. But Saunders' dad, Tom, says that they're going to fly home unless the ring is increased to 22 feet. Okay. They originally wanted it to be 24, which is well above the 20 feet Matchroom has offered. So Fury wants okay. So Fury's getting involved in this now too.
Fury's been all over it all week too. He's down there in Vegas with Saunders, or he's in. He flew. I think he flew down with Billy Saunders or whatever, and he's been talking to him and stuff. And yeah, they're pretty tight or whatever. So yeah, he's going to get involved in
So
it.
look at this article, Boxing News 24, which is the biggest fucking BS website of all time. It says a standard ring is 16 to 20 feet. No, it's not. A standard ring is 16 to 24 feet. See how they cut it to 20 to try to make Saunders look bad?
Yeah.
See, this is why the media is just. It says on Wikipedia the standard boxing. It doesn't say that that's a if you look standard boxing ring size. Watch this. You already read it.
Yeah.
It clearly says a standard ring is between 16 and 24 feet. And see, this is why the boxing media sucks. In that article, it says, "Oh, the standard ring size is 16 to 20 feet." And Saunders is requesting above the standard. No, he's not requesting above. It's in between 16 and 24. This is why I hate the media.
If you're Billy, let me see. Like, if you're Billy Joe Saunders, do you hold this line and say, "This is my hill I'm going to die on"?
Well, when you really think about it, they've already conceded on the judges. So now they're saying to themselves, if we concede on this point, then we're just getting rolled. We're just getting rolled here.
He's got a point, man. Yeah.
So
the judges are a big deal. I will agree that the judges are a big deal. And if you don't have any English judges in there and you got 3 American judges, well,
if there's 3 American judges and then people can say, oh, well, Canelo's not American, he's Mexican, but he has fought the majority of his fights in recent years where? In America. And Texas is his home away. Texas and California are Canelo Alvarez's home away from home.
For sure. Sure.
So
G Funky just said that, and G Funky, to his credit, he's been saying this as long as I have, I think. I don't think he's picked Billy Joe Saunders to win, but he says that he can it's not a rollover fight, that Saunders can give him some problems there. And he says that Canelo doesn't like to fight guys that move, and this is proof. And I think he's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Chakal just messaged me on Facebook. Let me see what this guy says. Fucking Canelo pom poms over here.
Yeah.
Okay, this is what he's saying. Saunders playing mind games. Canelo will have to agree to his demands. Wow. Okay, that's a Canelo fan saying that. That Canelo's going to have to agree to his demands.
Wow.
I'm going to make a prediction right here and now. I think we get a 22-foot ring, guys.
Let me tell you what. Let me tell you, when it comes to Canelo, Chakal is almost never wrong. He's like 99%. I don't know who he knows in that Canelo camp, but he knows somebody. And he is 99% spot on every time he makes a prediction about Canelo or anything like that. He's spot on, man.
I think we're going to get a 22-foot ring.
I think so. I think we might. JC says, what advantages? I told you, man. The judges, the home field advantage. I mean, he's got 60,000, Mexican Americans screaming for him, I mean,
first of all,
yeah, it's a big deal, man.
First of all, the judges thing on its by itself is enough. That's enough of an advantage.
Huge.
If you have the judges on your side, then or you have all American judges, which is going to favor you. Then automatically, I mean, that's a huge advantage right there. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's a big advantage.
Let's not downplay the significance of having the judges all being American here, please. The judges that are judging this fight more than likely have seen Canelo Alvarez fight and probably have scored Canelo Alvarez's fights before in the past because he's fought in Texas a few times.
Yeah.
These judges know nothing about Billy Joe Saunders' style. They're going to see him move a lot, and they're going to think he's retreating when it's part of his strategy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we got to be fair here. It's easy to criticize Billy Joe Saunders because he's not the most he's not the most likable person in the world. Let's just put that out there.
No,
what we are here is we're objective when it comes to the boxing aspect, and him having to go into Canelo's home. This is Canelo's home away from home. Him having to be in Texas with all those Mexicans screaming for Canelo, number one, and then number two, having to deal with all those the American judges. That's another one. So he's got to get something out of this. The deck we have to say is stacked against him, and Eddie Hearn doesn't give two. Eddie Hearn doesn't give two.
Eddie Hearn could care less. Eddie Hearn could care.
And then he's trying to pretend he's neutral. Eddie Hearn is not neutral. He's definitely siding with Canelo.
Yeah,
definitely siding with Canelo.
And he said, I guess Saunders and Hearn had a little fallout earlier this week. Or a few days ago or whatever, and he said that Eddie Hearn came out and said he was disappointed in Saunders because he got him the Canelo fight. Let's face it, you didn't get him the Canelo fight. That WBO belt got him the Canelo fight.
Listen,
long and short, you know what I mean?
If Billy Joe Saunders did not deserve this fight, he would not have gotten this fight.
Right. And Grievous in the chat says Eddie does what suits him only, and I agree. I think so. The judges, Adelaide Bird, CJ Ross, and Lou Moretti.
Now, none of us, again, full disclosure, I'm not a big fan of Billy Joe Saunders as a person, judging by his history and what I've. But that doesn't mean that he doesn't deserve a fair shake going into a boxing match.
But that guy can fight. I mean, you can't take anything away from that guy. Can fight.
He's a legitimate world champion without question.
To me, he poses more of a danger, more of a threat than any of those other British fighters coming over here.
Yes.
He's different. He's a different kind of guy. He's a different kind of fighter, man.
Yeah. I still think Canelo wins this fight 8-4. That's my prediction, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen just because I say it.
Yeah, I'm waiting till the weigh-in. I want to see what kind of shape they're both in, and then
Billy Joe Saunders is in phenomenal
shape.
He
looks like he's in really good shape, right?
No question about that. This is the best he's ever looked physically. Physically, it's the best he's ever looked.
From the pictures I've seen, everything like that, yeah, he looks pretty good, man.
And let me tell you this.
He's ready to go.
And let me tell you this. He must have taken the weight off very slowly because he does not look gaunt at all in his face. He looks fucking great.
He looks ready to go. Yeah, he looks ready, man.
He looks great.
Canelo always looks a bit drawn at the weigh-ins. We'll see. But he always looks really cut up and ready to go. I think that, I think both guys are going to look good. I don't think, we're going to have to worry about shape either one's in.
And I don't think the Brits could come over for this one, like you said, because it's travel restrictions.
Travel restrictions. So, I think that's what they were talking about with the home field advantage. I mean, I remember when Ricky Hatton used to fight here, it's almost like he had the home field advantage because he had all those people coming in from England, But yeah, it's a little bit different now. Not this time, man, and not in Texas. It ain't happening in Texas, man. I can tell you that.
Not happening in Texas.
No.
No way.
So yeah, it'll be interesting, man.
So we'll see how this whole thing plays out, man. My prediction is Canelo will give him the 22-foot ring. That's my prediction.
I got to second that too. I think that I got to think that that's going to happen because, you know, if nothing else, listen, man, I mean, you've got a lot of advantages. You know, I think that this can, you know, we can give him this.
Yeah.
You know, I think cooler heads will prevail because I really do think they'll walk. I mean, I don't think they're playing. I think they will walk. Gareth Davis, they interviewed Gareth Davis earlier. Gareth Davies, and he says, yeah, we know him, and I hope it doesn't come to that, but yeah, we definitely know him, and they're not playing around. They will walk, you know, and that's just a member of the media over there, so he knows them. I mean, so hopefully with any luck, man, we get a 22-foot ring, and we're on Saturday, man.
Yeah, I'm not against him getting the 22-foot ring. I kind of see where he's coming from, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I kind of see where he's coming from.
18, like I said, but this was all like promoter error. I'll be honest. I think it was promoter error. I think it was errors on the part of Saunders' team to not have this in place when they go in.
And you could say what you want about Saunders walking away from this, but I'm going to sound ridiculous here, but there's a couple good fights out there for him. You know, he could still fight Chris Eubank Jr. in Europe, and that would probably be a decent event over there, to be honest with you.
Yeah, they may not be Canelo money, but I tell you what, he'll get a guarantee. Wow. I mean, he's getting a guaranteed 2.5 here. He'll get 2.5 to fight Eubank.
Well, if Chris Eubank Jr. got you know, roughly $500,000 to fight that guy he fought on Saturday, then if he fights, you know, it's not going to be too much off. If you know, it'll be off, but it won't be. You know, think about this. He'll be able to go 50-50 with Eubank, whereas obviously he can't go 50-50 with Canelo. He's probably going 730. If he's getting 2.5 and Canelo's getting 15, I mean, what's he getting? 20% of the pot?
Yeah. I mean,
so if he goes 50-50 with Eubank, his payday could probably be similar. So I think there's a stupid as it may sound, people are like, oh, Canelo this. It's like when guys used to fight Floyd. Floyd used to get the majority of the money. So, you know, was it worth it sometimes fighting Floyd when you could fight Pacquiao? Pacquiao was giving guys bigger cuts of the split. So,
you know, and look, I mean, he's guaranteed $2.5 million. Canelo's getting 15 plus pay-per-view, and I think Saunders is getting a cut of the pay-per-view from what you said. But that's a big split. 15 million versus 2.5. That's a big difference.
Well, like I say, if Saunders fights Eubank Jr. and they put it on BT Sport pay-per-view, that thing could do 1 million pay-per-view buys over there. He could make a decent payday. I'm not, you know, I'm not. It's not like if he walks away from this,
he's going to be hurt. Yeah,
he can't get other fights. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Because he still has that WBO strap, and I'm sure it's something that
somebody wants it. Somebody wants it.
Yeah. So,
you know, I mean, somebody's going to fight him for it. So,
and let's Assam Khan says no one's ever given this kind of treatment to Canelo. Let's give Billy Joe props on this. He's standing up to Canelo.
Absolutely.
Let's give him props. You know, I'm starting to see it more and more.
You want to? Let me tell you what. You want to refund 60,000 tickets? Be my guest. It's going to cost you a lot more than it's going to cost him in a long run. So, I mean, that's the bottom line. That's the brass tacks of it, man.
Bible English says, but if BJ gets his 22-foot ring and then gets starched early, it will all been a waste of time. Well, of course it will be. Of course it would be, but that's hindsight is 2020.
Right.
You know, the odds makers are saying the way these odds are, and you look at the prop bets for Canelo to, you know, the odds are suggesting that the fight's going to go the distance. That's right. I think the most logical play here is the fight goes the distance.
Sure.
In my opinion.
I mean, like I said, and if I would bet that the fight goes the distance, and for the amount that you're getting for Billy Joe Saunders, I would put a slight touch of money on that. Because it can't hurt. I mean, don't put anything crazy like the house or anything, but small little dough or whatever, put them on him. And because I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't know. What was the ring size for Billy Joe Saunders versus David Lemieux? Let's see if we can find that. If that comes
Oh, I
up.
don't know.
I'm curious to see if we can find. It's hard to find the ring sizes, you know.
It really is.
But people are making statements like, "Well, he's fought in 20-foot ring the majority of his career." How do you? Again, how would you know that? There's no way you would know, what ring size all his fights were.
Right.
Oh, okay. Let me see here. I see what the big ring. Let me see what the ring size was here.
Yeah, I'm on Reddit now, but it won't be official, number one, but I'm trying to figure out and see if they have any numbers in there as to what it is. The title was just Lemieux handlers made mistake by putting up big ring. Let's see here. Let me see if I can follow this out.
They're saying in here that it was a 24-foot ring
Jesus.
against Lemieux. But think about it. He had to go to Canada
Yeah.
to fight.
No real difference here. I mean, there's really not.
You know.
Although he may have had judges that he wanted, but
Let's see what the judges were in that fight. Let's go to Billy Joe Saunders and we'll look at that fight. Yeah, so supposedly he got a 24-foot ring in that. Allegedly he did. I don't know how true that is.
yeah, I don't know.
We can't verify that with 100% certainty. Let's see.
Oh, shoot. All right, Beeb, I got to jump off here. My laptop's getting ready to run out of battery here.
All right, man.
All right, man. Thanks for having me on, man.
I'll catch you later.
All right. I'll talk to you.
All right, be good, man. Yeah, I'm going to get out of here pretty soon too, but I just want to check out. Let me see what the ring size was for the David, not the ring size, but the let me see what types of judges he had for the Saunders fight. See what the Okay, so the Billy, let's see what the judges were. Event. Okay. Phil Edwards, Gerardo Martinez, and Benoit Russell. So Phil Edwards he was from the United Kingdom. So there was for David Lemieux, there was one British judge, and there was one Puerto Rican judge, and there was one Canadian judge. So again, and one of the other biggest fights of his career, which was against David Lemieux, there was one British, one Canadian, and they had a Puerto Rican judge. So yeah. So again, what do you mean Brits don't use feet? Of course. Who said that Brits didn't use feet? I don't know. I never said that. I never said Brits didn't use feet. Who said that? Yeah, didn't know that. Did not know that. I never said that the Brits don't use feet. What are you talking about? You have to stop blocking some retards in here. This guy's gonna get blocked. You're getting blocked for lying. Anyone that lies gets blocked. That's an automatic. It's an automatic block. As soon as you lie, you get blocked. Yep. That's another block for you. Name calling. Boom. Out of there. All right. All the goofballs. Yeah. So again, we don't know. We know that Billy Joe Saunders, when he fought David Lemieux, he got a 24-foot ring. Okay, supposedly. Yeah. All contests should be decided in 4-row ring, not less than 16, not more than 20 square with the rows. So the British, that's the British Board of Control. All right. Thank you so much, CN. It says this is similar to Fury and his team before Klitschko. Yeah, a little bit of similarities. Little similarities. Most like I said, most rings are 20 feet that I know of. It could be anywhere from 16 to 24 feet. So there have been some fights that have been fought in 24-foot rings. Joshua versus Ruiz 2 was fought in a 22-foot ring. You know, that's something I would say to Eddie Hearn if I was Billy Joe Saunders, or if I was Billy Joe Saunders, Tom Saunders, Billy Joe Saunders' dad. I'd say, Eddie, it's kind of funny how you let Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz fight in a 22-foot ring. You went to bat for Anthony Joshua, but you didn't go to bat for me. So, yeah, it's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious, you know, what Eddie wants here. There's no question about that. There's no question about that. Yeah, it's wicked hard to find previous ringsides on Google. It's like the luck of a draw. Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, the fact that, like I said, Saunders got to come over to Texas, deal with the judges, give him something. At least give him something. You know, let's give him something. All right, guys, that's all I got, man. Thanks for joining me. Joining me in the chat. Talk to you guys later, man. Let's see what happens there. Hopefully, this thing gets sorted out. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Is there any now? Where was the objection to form? Irrelevant. Heyman's World. Objection to form, irrelevant. Once you change the subject, you lose the argument. Disqualified. That's a disqualification. You know, I would block you, but if I block you, you probably commit suicide, because you can't, like, coming on this channel and trolling is the highlight of your life. Heyman's World. You don't even have you can't even use your own name. You gotta live vicariously through somebody else. All right, guys, I'll see you guys later. I'm out of here. Objection to form, irrelevant. Once you change the subject. Once you change the subject, objection to form, irrelevant. Nope, it's objection to form, irrelevant. You change the subject. You can't stay on topic. Nope, objection to form, irrelevant. Objection to form. It's all objection to form. You're changing the subject. Once you start, like when I'm on the ropes, you're basically taking a knee right now by changing the subject, because you can't debate the facts. Fact of the matter is, Billy Joe Saunders is not getting a European. He's not getting a British judge. Fact of the matter is, there's 3 American judges. Fact of the matter is, he's fighting in Canelo's. Canelo is going to be the hometown fighter. Objection to form, irrelevant. My state of mind doesn't mean anything here. Objection to form, irrelevant. I'm winning again. Name calling. Objection to form, irrelevant. Ad hominem attack. Yeah, you'll be talking about this tonight. Yeah, I mean, he's fighting in Canelo's backyard, and then he's also, Canelo's getting the judges on his side. So that's 2 things. So at least give Billy Joe the ring. I have no problem with the ring being. I have no problem. I have no problem with with him getting the ring size, because he's not going to have. There's not going to be one British judge, where there's usually. In the Chisora fight, there was one New Zealand judge, one British judge, and there was a Polish judge. There was a neutral judge. Here, these are all American judges. Canelo's an American. Canelo's basically an American fighter. Basically, he fights all his fights in America, so he's already has the hometown advantage, and then he's got the judges. So at least give Billy one thing. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. You know? Objection to form, irrelevant. Once again, changing subjects. Pretty sad. But I guarantee you the ring's going to be 22 feet. I guarantee you that's going to happen. Objection to form, irrelevant. Statute of limitations, objection to form. Objection to form, irrelevant. Changing the subject. Once again, all changing the subject. Objection to form. So yeah, that's the thing. You know, like I said, I mean, it's got to be like somewhat obviously Canelo's the A side. So the fight's going to be where he wants it to be, which is Texas. And Texas is probably the most logical. It's probably the most logical place the fight could be because there's no restrictions there. You can put 70,000 people in the stadium. But again, it is going to be Canelo's going to have the home court advantage. So that's one thing in his favor. There's going to be All-American judges. That's another thing that's going to be in Canelo's favor. 20 feet is the standard size ring for a fight like this. Like Hagler Leonard fought in a 20-foot ring, but Joshua Ruiz did fight in a 22-foot ring. So Hearn went to bat for Joshua to get him a 22-foot ring because he knew Joshua wanted to box and move in that fight. So he should have tried to go to bat. He should have tried to go to bat for Saunders at least. Adela, I'm 100% on board with you. You're right. But he's got the home field advantage, and he has the judges. So he should at least give Saunders a little bit of leeway with the ring. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Yes, that's all I'm basically saying. Canelo, even Floyd, when he fought Cotto, he could have made Cotto fight at a catchweight, but he at least gave Cotto the fought him at 154. So I don't know. So I think Canelo is going to. I think Canelo will give him the 22-foot ring. I think he will. It's going to happen. The reason why I'm using Hagler Leonard as an example is because originally Hagler wanted the fight to be 15 rounds. He wanted the ring to be 18 feet. But he allowed Leonard to choose the ring size, which was 20 feet. And Leonard's a mover. So Leonard's a mover. And even he said 20 feet was enough for him. He didn't ask for 24 or 22. So that's the thing. So that's why I'm using that as an example. So Leonard ended up giving Hagler more money out of the split in order to get the things that he wanted. That's the thing. So that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's why I'm making the comparison. But this isn't the first time a fighter complained about the ring size. I told you that. I told you back. Sugar Ray Robinson, the day of the fight. I'm going to repeat this for people that didn't hear me talk about this story earlier. And this was on his documentary. It's in books. A lot of people can verify this. Sugar Ray Robinson, the day of the fight, did not like the ring size. I forget who he was fighting. It was a title fight. He did not like the ring size. And he said, I'm not going to fight. The day of the fight, he threatened to pull out of the fight. Sugar Ray Robinson, arguably the pound for pound greatest fighter of all time in a lot of people's minds. So the day of the fight, he said to the promoter, "I'm going to pull out if you don't give me a bigger ring." So what the promoter did was he took a tape measure and added feet to the tape measure to make it look like, or actually didn't add feet. He took some feet out to make it look like when he measured the ring, remeasured the ring, that the ring would measure bigger than it was. But he didn't. He pulled the fast one. He didn't even change. He didn't even change the ring size. And then I'm sure Robinson ended up fighting. So imagine if they did that to Saunders. They changed. They took some tape, took some feet out of the tape measure, and then they measure it, and it ends up measuring to 22. So that they take 2 feet out to make it look like the ring's bigger. That'd be hilarious. So yeah. Well, again, Canelo's supposed to be the pound for pound king. He's supposed to be the best fighter in boxing. Then he should. Why would he need all those advantages? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So Eddie Hearn hasn't spoke yet. No one, he hasn't really talked about it. So yeah, he did say he'd fight him in a phone booth. There's no question about that. So we'll see. But I have a feeling that Canelo Alvarez will give him the feet. They will let him have the extra 2 feet for the ring. So, but at the end of the day, this is something that they should have worked out, weeks ago or even months ago when they were negotiating the fight. So that's the thing. So but that's just my opinion. All right, guys. Like I said, I'm going to get out of here, man. Beeb is out. Talk to y'all soon. Have a great day, man. And my prediction is Canelo will probably concede on the ring size and add the 2 feet. So it is what it is. All right, take it easy, guys. Have a great one.